Yo, what's going on people? It's your boy Huncho back at you again with another video. And so today we've got two stories that are coming out of the capital. One is a case that has recently just wrapped up, whilst the other is currently an ongoing situation that went down a few days ago, but in a recent police appeal they've released some CCTV footage which I'm going to play for you guys right now, and then we'll go over what exactly has happened. So according to the police report, they've come out to say that detectives are appealing for witnesses after a car was stolen at Gunpoint on Priory Street in Tower Hamelts. It continues, police were called at around 2:51 AM on Thursday 3rd of June 2021 to reports of a car having been stolen on Priory Street. The vehicle is a white BMW 3 Series. The driver, with a woman in the passenger seat, was parking on Priory Street when two men approached the car on either side from St Leonard Street. The men demanded the driver to open the door and get out, which he refused to do so. When the woman called 999, the two suspects ran away. A short time later, the driver and the woman left satisfied that the men had left, unlocked the car and opened the doors. As they did so, the same two men approached the vehicle again, demanding the driver to get out. He refused until one of the suspects produced a knife and a handgun, pointing them towards the driver. The suspect is then reported to have said, "Get out quickly or I'll shoot you," which made the driver fear for his safety, and both the woman and the driver quickly got out of the car. The two men then got into the BMW and were joined by a third man before driving off at speed. The three suspects are reported to be in their 20s, black, slim build, wearing dark-coloured tracksuits and balaclavas covering their faces, with only their eyes being visible. But if it's one thing we know about car thefts here in the UK, it's that rarely we do go on to see those cars that have been stolen go on to be recovered. Of course, this situation is a bit different to ones we've gone over before because a firearm has been used, so it's a bit more serious, but again, it is very rare we'll see vehicles go on to be recovered by police. Even high profile people like Harry Kane is yet to see his £100,000 Range Rover recovered. If you guys remember, we did cover that situation where Harry Kane was robbed of his Range Rover, and again, even his car has still yet to be recovered. On the other hand though, when the likes of Ozil and Kolasinac were nearly robbed, we did go on to see people be convicted in that situation, and although the robbery wasn't necessarily for the vehicle itself, I believe because weapons were used in that situation, it was a bit more of a priority, just like this will be. But moving on to our next story, and for this one we've got to head over to Crystal Palace, where at around 9:30 AM, 32-year-old Vicente Ford would dress up as an Amazon delivery driver, and then this would happen. That morning, Vicente walks up to an address, dressed up as a driver, knocks the door and waits for the door to be opened with an empty Amazon cardboard box. When he hears the door open, he puts the package down and pulls out a shotgun which had been concealed in his jacket and aims it towards the door. The victim, who had been at home with his young daughter and who had been on the phone to a friend at the time, reacted within seconds by grabbing hold of the gun, Ross Kemp style, and then became engaged in a struggle with Vicente to try and disarm him. The victim would later go on to say he heard Vicente shout at him, "Let go of the gun or else he'd stab him," but the victim still tussled for the gun as Vicente landed punches and kicks on him. The victim screamed out for help as this was happening before managing to grab the gun and throw it away under a nearby car. It's then believed that members of the public ran to the victim's aid and together they restrained Vicente until police arrived at the scene. Upon arrival, he would go on to be detained, and then the shotgun was recovered along with 2 live cartridges. Upon further inspection of the gun, it's thought that it was lethal and in turn could have potentially gone on to kill the victim. The victim would go on to be taken to hospital where he was treated for bruising and a broken nose, whilst Vicente would go on to be charged with possession of a firearm with intent to cause fear of violence, possession of a prohibited weapon, and possession of a firearm by a person prohibited, all to which he's recently pled guilty to and is to be sentenced at a later date. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what was this over and why did Vicente go to this person's house to basically back out a shotgun on him and potentially go on to kill him? Well, I don't have an answer because according to the police report that came out, detectives are still trying to establish a motive all these months on, and even though he has gone on to plead guilty to this, I'm guessing the victim hasn't said anything, and of course Vicente hasn't said anything either. But if we do get an update out of this situation, I'm going to keep you guys posted on this one. But let me know what you guys think of this down in the comment section below. Give the video a little like, and if you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Huncho, and I'm out.